Hi, this is Hope with Together We Are Aware, and I'm so excited to have Eric on the channel today. I knew Eric in high school, and when we started Together We Are Aware, he actually reached out to me and said he would love to share his testimony, and I'm so excited to have it. So thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
So what eating disorders did you suffer from?
I actually suffered from two. Anorexia, where I completely stopped eating, and the polar opposite, binge eating, where I just wanted to eat everything.
Yeah, one to the other, right?
Yeah, the best of both worlds.
So when did you first realize that you were insecure with your body?
It was definitely freshman year. Just entered high school. My whole life I've been told I'm bigger, thicker, above the average. My parents called it husky. And I didn't know what that meant. I had no clue. And then entering high school, you have your loss of innocence. You start realizing that everyone's different. And I was on the bigger side of different.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want that. I didn't like that. I did not want to be bigger.
Yeah.
I got really insecure really fast.
So when did that insecurity become a disorder?
The end of junior year. I was fighting with my parents a lot. I had just come out of the closet, and I kind of found a release in not eating.
So that fighting with your parents and that coming out just triggered it.
And definitely, with my parents, if we were in the same room, we were yelling at each other. So I decided I didn't want to yell, so I wasn't going to be in the same room as them. And that included the kitchen. Stopped going in the kitchen, which meant I stopped eating.
Yeah.
And then at the same time that I'm doing that, I just came out of the closet. And so I'm trying to learn and fill out the gay community, and there's so much pressure to look a certain way, act a certain way, be perfect. And their thought of perfect is being ridiculously thin.
Yeah.
And I wanted to fit that mold. I wanted to know what it felt like to have people want me, and I did that.
Did you ever feel like you were perfectly comfortable with your weight?
Never. I was 6 foot and I weighed 165 pounds. So thin.
Yeah.
And I still never felt perfect. I was still every day telling myself, why did you eat that yesterday? You gained a pound from it. You could be thinner, you could be smaller, you're not trying hard enough. You're never going to be perfect. And so while I was ridiculously skinny and I had everyone wanting me and I was sexy and I looked good, but I didn't feel it.
You were never happy.
Never.
So when did anorexia just come to a point where you said, this has to stop, I can't do this anymore?
About 4 or 5 months into me not eating, I took a different course of action and I started what I called the ice diet, which sounded perfectly normal to me, and it was not. I literally only ate ice.
Wow.
For a little over a month. I would just eat ice as if it was a full course meal. And one day I was at work, sitting there with my styrofoam cup of ice on my lunch break, and I took a bite and I looked down at that cup and I'm like, I just had this epiphany. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You are crazy. You're eating ice on your lunch break. And I threw the cup away and I told myself, I can't do this. I cannot do this. I was so unhealthy. I was so unhappy.
Yeah.
And I didn't want it anymore. It was such a burden. I was working at Pizza Hut at the time, and who can resist pizza?
No one.
And so slowly I got back into the routine of nibbling. But I still had this insecurity where I didn't want people to see me eating. If no one sees you eating, it didn't happen. So it was kind of like my little secret.
Yeah.
Like no one knew I was doing it. But I was sneaking food here and there.
And did it just get out of control?
It did. It did. I was living with my grandma at the time. And she's a grandma. It's junk food, it's candy, it's cookies, it's all the stuff your parents won't let you have.
Yeah.
And it becomes a very volatile situation when all of that kind of food is put in the room with someone who used to be anorexic.
Yeah.
Everything you shouldn't be eating is surrounding. And I started doing this thing where every night when my grandma went to bed, I would just attack and ravage the kitchen.
Yeah.
Ate everything I could, and while I was disgusted by myself, the fact that I was eating all of this stuff after I had worked so hard to achieve my body and to not eat, just threw it all away.
And so then you just, you start hating yourself when that happens.
Yes. The voice in your head, the voice will always be there, and it's telling you, what are you doing? You're so fat. Why are you eating that? Put that down. You're going to look disgusting tomorrow. And I was pushing it aside. I was rebelling. Like a teenager. I was you're telling me to do one thing, I'm going to do another. The voice was telling me not to eat. I was doing the complete opposite and eating everything.
Absolutely.
And I gained back all the weight that I lost, which was a good 50-something pounds, and then some, in a very short period of time. It was very unhealthy.
So, and when did that come to a head? And then you just realized, okay, now that also, I still have a problem.
I moved in with a friend, and I remember the first night I was there, when everyone went to bed, my gut instinct was to go to the kitchen. When the lights go out and everyone's door closes, go to the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I did that. I got up, I went to the kitchen, and I stood there for a second, and I realized I'm living with a friend. I can't do this. I can't eat all her food. It's not mine. I'm not at grandma's house anymore. And it was very difficult. It was a very rough, probably 2 weeks, where I would still go through the motion of when everyone went to bed, I would go to the kitchen and I would kind of pace around the kitchen, like looking for anything that I could that they wouldn't notice would be missing, and there was nothing.
It just controlled you. It still controlled you.
It still controlled me. And I didn't know what to do. I had already gone through anorexia and stopped eating. I couldn't do that. I binge ate and ate everything, and I couldn't do that. So what was I to do?
So it worked itself out.
It did. It actually did. I got in the routine of going out with friends and going to lunch, and for a while I felt guilty about it. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to eat these fries. I'm going to eat this burger, and I'm going to enjoy it.
And how does it feel now?
Amazing. I'm so comfortable with myself, and I haven't been in years. And to be able to sit down with myself and just be content and be comfortable in my own skin is amazing.
And that's something that I know I didn't have even at my thinnest. And,
exactly.
And, you know,
I did not.
No, when you're at your thinnest, you're still not happy.
You're still not happy. You're not content. You're still telling yourself that you're doing something wrong. You could look better.
Yeah. Do you think that this program, Together We Are Aware, is going to provide, because we both got lucky in the way that we just stopped.
We did.
But some people don't.
They don't have that.
And do you think that Together We Are Aware is going to help?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Just having a resource, having someone you can reach out to, it's a serious problem. You should not go through it alone. And I know it's not normal to want to approach a friend and say, I have a problem, I stopped eating. Or I have a problem, I throw up after I eat. That's not considered normal, but you need to reach out to someone and get help.
Absolutely.
It's a serious problem, and it can be controlled.
Absolutely. And I love that Eric is so willing to share his testimony, especially because anorexia and eating disorders are very often considered a woman's problem. And I'm so proud because you are not a feminine guy at all, and you are bold enough to come out, and we appreciate that so much.
Of course.
And because I think he's so inspiring and he's been through so much, he's actually going to be taking over the emails and responses to questions. I will also be checking every once in a while, but he is going to be the main person, and I'm so excited to have that.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to
And
be on
I'm so
board.
excited to have you be a part of this. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you for having me.
And you'll see a lot more of us, and look forward to our next segment.
Thank you.